It's time to embrace a youthful mindset and envision your future. Take the lead is in your walls.
Take the lead is in your walls.
This platform serves as a space for engagement designed to equip young people to become effective leaders. They are actively contributing, creatively engaged, and determined in various fields. And now, this is Take the Lead.
Hello to you out there and welcome to Take the Lead on West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting from Dakar, Senegal. This is the 32nd episode of your Youth Exchange program. My name is Augustine Cully, and today we will be discussing the social impacts of youth-led initiatives on climate change in West Africa. Join us now live on 94.9 FM and on our social media platforms on Facebook, WADR English Service, on YouTube at WADR. Also, send in your reactions because this topic concerns every one of us. No matter where you are, once you are within the world, you are being affected by this topic. So send in your reactions and we will certainly read them out throughout the program. West Africa, like many other regions of the world, is facing the effects of climate change. And this is evident through rising temperatures, increasingly unpredictable rainfall, and more frequent extreme weather events such as droughts and floods. Why these changes significantly impact agriculture, water resources, ecosystems, and human security, as many of you may know, they also pose potentially devastating consequences for the region's youthful population. That means the youths who make up majority of the region's population. Therefore, addressing the involvement of young people in addressing the impacts of climate change, not only in the world but specifically West Africa, is essential and very crucial for safeguarding the future of West Africa and beyond.
Take the Lead is back in 2025 with a brand new format. Yes, your Youth Exchange Space will now be broadcast live every Friday at 4:05 p.m. Universal Time. And that's not all. Dear internet users and WADR subscribers, you have the opportunity to experience the show live and direct on our online platforms on Facebook at WADR English Service and on YouTube at WADR. Take the Lead every Friday from 4:05 p.m. Universal Time and rebroadcast same day at 1 a.m. Universal Time. Also on every Tuesday, your youth program will be rebroadcast at 7:15 a.m. and 4:05 p.m. GMT. Take the lead and champion the discourse for the betterment of young people.
We will keep reminding you every time that you need to take charge. They are the young people, and you need to take the lead in giving them the direction, in ensuring that you make the world a better place for them. So joining us today are experts. I would term them as experts, even if they don't term themselves as experts. But regarding this topic, they are all versatile personalities in discussing the issue of climate change. And they are Amsam Buch, the coordinator of Dynamic for an Agro-Ecological Transition at the organization known as Endapronat in Senegal. Let's hear more from her as she's in our studio already today. How are you doing, Absad, and welcome to the YouFood platform.
Thank you for having me. I'm doing great, Augustine. Thank you for having us to share our thought on this very critical thematic.
Great. So how is it going with your work? Given the background of what you do, agroecological activities, which has a very direct link to climate change.
Yeah, so we've been in Senegal working to develop agroecology really for several years actually. It started over 4 decades ago, but the work has really been increasing since 2019 with the creation of the dynamic that I'm coordinating right now that is gathering around 90 organizations, so diverse organizations. We have farmers, youth, policymakers, NGOs, etc. So the idea is really to push more on the, let's say, social dimension, social movement dimension regarding the mobilization of actors to foster their locally adapted solutions to tackle climate change. So we think that agroecology is a very suitable and concrete solution that will help tackle these issues regarding climate change in terms of agriculture, so agriculture and livestock.
Great, great. Next is Clifford Debbie. He is the executive director of Clean Climate and Environment Campaign Initiatives in Nigeria. It's a privilege to have you on the YouFood platform, Clifford. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm fine. Thank you very much, Mr. Augustine Bill. It's an honor to join you today and to speak about a topic that not only shapes our present, but defines our future, the social impact of youth-led climate change initiative in West Africa, as the region faces some of the most severe consequences of climate change. Despite contributing less than 3% of global emissions, its youth are rising as a powerful agent of change, driving innovative solutions and reshaping community for a sustainable future. So I also want to appreciate our other guest speaker in the house and the entire crew behind the scene. Thank you very much for bringing this opportunity for us to hear our opinion and share our views globally within the region. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure. Also joining us is Audrey Elom Afutu, the project coordinator for West African Sustainable Environments and Economic Development Solutions, WASIS, in Ghana. How are you doing, Audrey? And welcome to the program.
I'm doing really, really well. Though Ghana is mourning, we had a tragedy before us on Wednesday.
Yep. I know. Audrey will just encourage you to watch your background so that we can try to avoid distractions as we go along. But our deepest sympathies to the people of Ghana, including you, for the loss of those officials in a helicopter crash. So we will get back to Audrey. But now you've just heard from our guests. It promises to be very interesting today. Let's begin with Absa. You started on a full note, especially when you spoke about the issue of finding solutions to climate change. But let's begin with understanding climate change, looking at how catastrophic it is in the world, and considering our region, West Africa. What can you say about climate change?
Thank you for this question. I think you already set the tone while introducing this session. Nowadays, we cannot look the other way when talking about climate change. When we take our context, so specifically in Senegal, some issues regarding land degradation, for instance, have been observed over the past years. The last year report show regarding to agricultural land, for instance, we have 34% of those lands that are degraded. And those are due to actually the rainfall that is, let's say, not regular anymore, the practice that are based on more chemicals or unsustainable way of agriculture, but also we also can cite the other impact on biodiversity loss or forest also. So the deforestation, meaning that climate change right now is something that we are feeling, that we are seeing, and that is something that is affecting people's life every day. And if you take the case of Senegal specifically, because I'm going to developed a lot regarding the agriculture and the rural world, because it's one of the main activity, the main sector that we have in Senegal. And today, if we see that 95% of the farmers are family farming, and they're all vulnerable to those climate change that we are seeing regarding the degradation of the productive base. So regarding water, regarding land, regarding forest, it is climate change become a daily challenge and a daily battle that we need to tackle when we still get time.
Okay. When we still get time, do we have the time, or is it a moment that those responsible for climate change, in other words, I will ask, are these people aware that they are causing the danger, or their actions are resulting to climate change based upon maybe how they're farming or how they're taking care of the community or environment?
So I think then that's where the thematic of this session is really relevant, because we have what we can call a conflict, a generational conflict, meaning that we have the generation that maybe have been, I would not say willingly sometimes, but really due to the policies that we had at the time that was focused on productivity to export due to other let's say, reasons, it affected the relation to nature. Okay. It affected the way of farming. And doing so, they saw and lived the consequences of those bad practices, but it was quite late for them to be a voice for change for all of them. And then we have that young generation who understands it, who is living it, and who is supposed to be the future. If we take Senegal, we have 74% of the population that is under 35, meaning that is a very young population. And so, in terms of if they are knowing that they are causing these changes, they do. And if they are trying now, yes, they are trying to actually adopt other form of practices, but then it also requires evidence. It also requires new technologies that are adapted, and those are the initiatives that young people are more working on.
Okay, great. Let's hear from you, Clifford, in Nigeria. How was it regarding the organization that you head, and in terms of your work, what have you identified to be the impact of climate change in Nigeria before we considered young people's involvement?
Thank you very much. Then Nigeria, the context within Nigeria, demographic is dynamic, and the south, the south-south, the southeast, the southwest, the northeast, the northwest, these are dynamic regions with their uniqueness and challenges and peculiarities. So one template differs to another region. So, but generally speaking, the challenge, each region has their peculiarity. The north is dealing with deforestation. The south is dealing with flooding. So then you have the challenges, climate change challenge in the southwest, which has to do with spillage and farming. Then the southwest, which is mainly Lagos, also has a challenge of flooding. So geographically, we don't have the same problem within the country. So every region has their own challenges. So if you are working as an organization, we have this structure that's addressing region, that address each region with their peculiarities. So we don't have the same challenge in Lagos or the southwest as it's called. We have different challenge in the southeast. We have different challenge in the south-south. We have this different challenge in the southeast. Then if you now go to the north, it's also different. So ours is challenging, and we also have the issue of earthsmelt due to climate change. We want to look at again, the north produces more of agriculture, they're into more farming. We have our yam, we have a lot of our produce from the north. Over the last few years, you have the issue of climate change, forcing farmers to migrate, tribes and communities to migrate for greener pasture. Those whose earnings and livelihood depends on cow has to migrate due to climate change. Other communities' lives who are into farming needs water. So these are some of the challenges that are not peculiar to the South-South. So while in the case of the South-South, farmers have other challenges, not that of lack of water, but that of deforestation, which is also part of some of the challenges we also have. So these are some of the things we are dealing with in Nigeria. So it's really challenging for us looking at the impact of climate change generally in Nigeria.
Okay, now let's go to I will consider the young person among the guests so far. That is Audrey from Ghana. There is this issue about galamsey, the illegal mining activity in the country. But I would love to hear more from Audrey. We are happy that you are here on the platform. Tell us more about this issue. There are other factors maybe contributing to climate change in Ghana, but galamsey is on the average. Tell us more about what you are aware of as a young person or a young climate agent in Ghana. Audrey, okay, I think we lost Audrey. We will get back to her, but let's come back to Abza. It's good to hear more from you. With all that you've said, signals that we will certainly, understand more. The young people will get to understand more about climate change and how to address it. But let's bring you here in Senegal. With all that you've said, how do you think the young people in Senegal are aware of this? If they are aware, how far you think they are engaged with tackling these challenges relative to climate change?
Thank you for the question. So I think in terms of awareness, these past decades, there have been a lot of work that have been done, whether it is by the government, whether it is led by civil society organizations, youth organization. They really have there have been many initiatives that worked to raise awareness first, because sometimes if young people are not sensitive, it's not because they don't care, it's just because they do not know. And there have been a tremendous work that have been done. So what I'm getting at is we are seeing more and more young people that are working actively on climate action, whether it is in the sector that I'm evolving, which is agriculture, which is wide, but also in broader other environmental causes, whether it is the fishery or the regarding the mining, regarding other aspects. There have been more awareness and more initiatives led by young people. So in terms of concretely what they have been doing, I will highlight just maybe one or two examples here. For instance, regarding because they're working a lot on social movements actually. So if I take the Senegalese case, one recent concrete example is that Senegal is working to review its agriculture, its orientation law on agriculture. So the young people of the rural world working on agriculture, fishery, and livestock, they have gathered themselves about 6 months before the work actually started, and they went on the ground, documented the real needs of the young people, taking into account climate change, and which actually appears to be one of the biggest issue. And then they proposed a strategy to actually put in the new law that have been written that is very climate sensitive. And this concretely is actually in the draft version that is going to be presented to the parliament. So meaning that young people, they really work also to actually create those synergies between them, because we have several ecologic zones they knew that they had to propose solutions that take into account all of their needs to make sure that it will address the issues. So that is one. And just very quickly, the other one is there's also a lot of actually young people now are also working a lot on raising awareness to young people because they understood that young people are relate more to their peers. So we have a lot of initiatives, especially actually also in the urban area.
Yeah.
If we take the case of Dakar, Mbu, Chess, and they are quite creative in the ways of doing it, whether it is through social media regarding some videos that they can share in Instagram or other social media, but also creating challenges that are really regarding reforestation or actually create debates to make sure that people knows the topics and the real facts. So those are some initiatives that I wanted to show.
Okay, we will get back to you for more, but I guess Audrey is back. Let's hear from Audrey with regards to the Ghanaian youth engagement into the issue of climate change in Ghana. Audrey, tell us more about, aside from your work that you do separately, what have you observed from... please, feedback. What have you observed from other young people in Ghana relative to addressing the issue of climate change in their communities or regions?
Thank you. So currently, young people are forming coalitions, forming associations, and coming together to create awareness through their various initiatives. We do have youth groups that are voicing out. We do have organizations, CSOs coming together to create awareness about climate change. And apart from that, these organizations do have their own initiatives they implement in their various regions. And they do have different niche, or let's say different sectors they are handling. So a youth group like SYND, you would know, is really championing climate change awareness across the country. And these are made up of young people who are really putting out the message of climate change and how to mitigate and adaptive measures we can put in place to solve climate change and the little they can in their own way to contribute to climate change initiatives.
But from your personal observation, tell us, has there been any impact so far from these young people, and how are they carrying it out about in terms of where are they reaching, what are they doing, to be specific in terms of their initiative that will address particular issues like the Galam say, or maybe if you have issue of deforestation, the agroecology, what specifics are there that these young people are tackling in Ghana?
Okay, so currently I'd use myself as a case study. So this year, Ghana had funding from Bloomberg Philanthropies, and this was a fund specific to cities, major cities, and it was given to young people to implement projects across the country. So young people were selected based on their projects and the impact it was going to create. For instance, in Ghana, our capital, which is Accra, the major problems we face is pollution, waste pollution. We also do face noise pollution, air pollution. We do have lesser trees. So my team came up with a tree planting initiative, and also to create awareness across the city, we decided to create eco clubs for kids in the junior high schools. So we targeted some schools across the region, and these children are being given education about climate change. This is to enable them get the concepts, to inculcate the habit of having to put in measures to curb climate change in their own way as they grow up, so that when these people get into positions where they can actually make bigger impact, they would be able to do that with ease because it becomes part of their upbringing, it becomes part of their culture. We also identified communities that had very less to no trees, let me say, and there were tree planting across the medians, across the streets. We involved women and children, educated them. These women enabled us to also preach the news about climate change, tell their children, their families. They helped in cleaning up the environment because of waste pollution. Some also live along the coast, and then waste has also been one of our issues along the coast, depriving the marine habitats or the organisms oxygen due to large volumes of plastics in our ocean. Okay. So this is something we are doing in our own way to empower. And this is done with collaboration with the city's assembly, which is Accra Metropolitan Assembly. So they are empowering youth in the country to take up initiatives, including encouraging people to use electric bikes to be specific, instead of using the public transport to curb the air pollution in the city.
Okay.
Others are also turning waste into useful products, briquettes and so on. So, I mean, these are all things that even the country, the assemblies and all local authorities are coming on board to empower you to take up initiatives in the country.
Thank you, Audrey. Now, there is this growing trend in Nigeria, aside from the insecurity aspect of jihadist attack or terrorist attacks, the issue of flooding. And it's been reported in the news. You will hear it about 15, 20, sometimes 50, 70, 100 plus people died as a result of flooding in Niger State, Plateau State, and other states or regions of the country. Tell us more, Clifford. Have you seen young people coming to the aid of these affected people? Are they creating the awareness in terms of what they understand about climate change? Are they also maybe providing services to these people in the affected areas? Clifford, are you getting me? Perhaps you got to put your microphone on.
Thank you very much. Yes, I want to say we must appreciate youth globally, especially in Nigeria. Why? Because they bring creativity, they bring adaptability, they are willingness to challenge the status quo. They leverage technology and social media to amplify their impacts. Often, youth are often closer to grassroots community, making their solutions more context specific. Now, in the context of Nigeria, with regards to flood, yes, youth have been very, very active across the nation. And if you follow our history recently, whether economically, socially, politically, you see the impact of youth. You see the dynamic of youth. You see the initiatives of youth. They are these young people. The willingness is there to challenge the status quo in order to bring change to the community. So in every sector, in every region, you have the youth so much to the extent that they form association. We have youth-led association. You have youth-led civil society organization. You have youth-led youth in every sector. Community youth-led. We have a religion youth-led. You have there's youth initiative driving every solution in every part of the country. Now, with regards to flooding, one, you must also understand that there are causes of flooding in some of these parts of this. Some of these parts, we have the political will. There's a limit to which a youth can go. We can only raise awareness. We cannot change a political status quo. In some cases, We can only bring to the notice of government. We can also raise awareness among ourselves to the way we dispose our waste. Those who build across drainages, those who build on restricted areas. These are areas where youth organizations can raise their voice, call government to action, call communities to action, call individuals to action. Also, we also have some of the challenges that you see when you talk about flooding in some part of these countries. The one that happened recently, it has to do with the lack of will on the particular and the side of government, where you have a bilateral agreement between Nigeria and Cameroon and other countries. They build a dam. The Nigerian government also to build a dam to receive the waste coming from across the country. These were not put in place. These were not put in place. So when you release a dam from point A and the point B that also collect the dam to channel the dam is not there, then you have flooding. So these are some of the issues we've raised with government in order to go back to the template, build proper dam in place, prepare for this. And also we also youth-led initiative has also come up with so many initiatives to talk about mitigation, how to foresee whether then the issues of like in Lagos, for example, now we've gone around to ensure that drainages are not blocked. You don't build on drainages because of the population. People build on drainages, create shops, mini supermarket, mini shops on some of these places. And because of housing shortage and population expansion in Lagos, people are also filling up lands for housing. When you fill up lands for housing during the dry season, you also know that the rainy season will come. So if the natural home of this flood, you build on it, it has to find a way. And these are some of the challenges. And you also remember that recently, which was later stopped because of the youth-led initiative, when the government was trying to expand the Atlantic Ocean in Lagos. And a lot of youth came up and said, no, this will have impact. The impact will be on the neighborhood and surrounding communities. And some of that communities, the state government has also taken over in order to accommodate housing. And because of the youth-led initiative and their voices on the social media and technology, this is where our abandoned. The same thing you see in the northern region. And also, you must also take note that, look, if you are a youth-led organization in the north and you are a youth-led organization in the south, we don't operate in the same dynamic. This is the reason. One, we are more free in the south. Religion control the north to a large extent. So, but I want to say that the youth are very, very active. They are creative. They are adaptable, and they are willing to challenge the status quo.
Thank you, Clifford. We will get back to you. Let's come back to Absa. In Senegal, there were this time, and it's often experienced, especially during the rainy season, along the Falémé River, it gets overflooded, and residents around that area, around Kidira and Jimbe, around those riverbanks, the local farmers, including young people who have their parents, they are affected as a result of this. And in the heart of Dakar, these various beaches, I'm concerned about whether young people are also responsible for climate change. Could they be blamed? The issue of plastic waste pollution. On the beaches, you see these young people, they are there, but they're holding on plastic and, beverages, but yet they would just waste those things. It comes with the effect of, the blue economy or blue ocean. Tell us about here in Senegal. What do you know about young people engaged in these acts that also resort to the effects of climate change?
Yes, of course. And you highlighted a very interesting point of the responsibility that young people can have as well in climate change or pollution. And so I'll start by the latter example you gave in Dakar. In terms of concrete initiative, I will mention maybe a first one that was started by a local organization in Yoff commune, where we have the Besséawo beach, which is very polluted, especially during this time where young people are in vacation. And they started hosting this. So they host concerts, for instance, or they host what we call ndaje in Wolof. It's a kind of gathering when people will come. So we have quite fun environment. but actually sensitize, to actually explain what are the stakes.
Okay.
And as well, most of the time it's followed by cleaning sessions or those type of initiatives. We also have regarding also the ocean organization called Oceanium. So its name is actually to clean.
Okay.
So they deep dive and they try to clean and gather the waste that they are taking from the sea and actually show it to explain people what it can actually bring as what type of side effect it can have. So regarding the other way, when you're talking more of mining, the pollution, even flooding on those areas of Senegal, let's say that young people in this area have sometimes difficult decisions to take. If we are concretely talking about how it goes, you have, let's say, a part that is really engaged in defending their rights. We have youth-led organizations that are actually doing a lot of advocacy, working with a lot of NGO to build case study. But on the other side, we also have many young people that are being recruited by those mining enterprises. So they tend sometimes to look the other way around, which finally can create a certain type of conflict within the youth movements in some areas.
Great. So far we have listened to interesting conversations by our guests. It's been amazing so far. So let's take this moment and listen to a report from Yechenu Sasetu in Nigeria.
Young people in Nigeria are experiencing the effects of climate change firsthand, including flooding, droughts, and extreme weather events. In response to these challenges, youth-led climate change movements in the country are intensifying their efforts by actively involving themselves in raising awareness, advocating for policy changes, and implementing practical solutions to tackle the country's environmental issues. Some of their initiatives include tree planting campaigns, waste management programs, climate-smart agriculture, and the promotion of renewable energy. A few young climate change advocates have shared the details of their initiatives.
We are looking at a situation whereby the climate conditions in Africa or in Nigeria can be reduced to the very, very, very lowest minimum.
Here with my team members to contribute our own quota to the climate to the climate action.
Keep on doing the good work that sustains our environment, which is planting trees and not bringing them down, taking care of the green areas, just any green area around you.
These climate change movements are driven by the recognition that young people are disproportionately affected by climate change and will inherit the consequences of current actions. While continuing their youth-led initiatives, these climate activists engage with policymakers demanding stronger climate policies and actions to address the increasing impact of climate change on Nigerian youth.
So far, we've been getting little support from the government. We've not gotten the kind of support we want. And you know that, like they say, young people are the bedrock of any proven or growing society. So it means that for us at Enugu, we would like for more partnership with the government, right, to be able to get to the final solution a bit better.
We have a lot of green grass emissions. You see a lot of dump sites, and in those communities you don't have like a specific dump site where that people can come and they can pack it, and all that also maybe recycling that. So those are one of the problems. We also have a lot of problems in terms of flooding, where we don't have proper drainage systems, and these are just local context issues that we are trying to solve.
According to experts, youth-led climate action in Nigeria is a vital response to the pressing issues of environmental degradation, deforestation, and the impacts of climate change on communities and livelihoods. The involvement of young people in climate action is essential for several reasons. Firstly, they are the ones who will face the consequences of today's environmental decisions. Secondly, their innovative ideas and energy can drive new solutions to long-standing problems. By harnessing their creativity and passion, Nigeria can cultivate a generation of leaders committed to sustainable practices and environmental stewardship.
Thanks to journalist Yechenu Sasetu in Nigeria for that report.
Hey people, my name is Mello, Afrobeat singer from Guinea and Conakry. I love listening to the program Take the Lead on West Africa Democracy Radio.
Hello, my name is Fatou Bintou Rasuke. I'm the CEO of African Start Shop and I love listening to the York program Take the Lead on West Africa Democracy Radio.
Welcome back to the program. Let's acknowledge our partner radio stations across the sub-region in Nigeria. We have Darlin FM, we have Nansit FM in Kaduna State, we have Love FM in Abuja. In Liberia, we recognize Alternative Youth Radio in Lofa County, DCN Radio in Rivers, and Kwatika Radio in Bangabong County. Traveling down to Sierra Leone, we have African Young Voices in Freetown, Radio Gbaf, Mal, we have Hands of Hope in Freetown, as well as Eastern Radio in Kono District there in Sierra Leone. Now to Ghana, we have Radio Pav in the Savannah region, we have Royals FM so far. Now in the Gambia, we have Nomi FM and Radio Veritas. Welcome back to this wonderful half of the program. Let's now garner the recommendations from our respective guests. With all that you've said, let's get your recommendations and wrap up on this edition of the program. Beginning with you, Audrey, let's hear from you. What can you say to governments, institutions, including young people, to ensure that there is an increase in the social impact of youth-led initiative on climate change?
Okay, so I would say we should focus more of our energy, our resources.
Well, we will have to let you go if there's no time with the network. Are you there?
Hello. So I would say we should focus more of our resources, our energies to empowering the youth because they are our future. These are people who, if we inculcate the culture of mitigating and adapting to climate change, are going to put in place measures in the future. Also, we should also empower them with resources, funds, and training materials, technical know-how, conferences, to be able to get the capacity building, to be able to get to the table and negotiate for some of these climate change initiatives. And to add up, we should give them the opportunity when there is the chance to be able to take up initiatives, because that is the only way we'll be able to empower them to get to where we want to. And it is a collective approach. We can't leave it to the elder generation. We can't leave it to the people that are not even interested. We have to be able to push forward and bring together all stakeholders, including our local authorities, including the youth, including women and children, not being biased, not being racially discriminating. We should bring on board everybody to be able to fight climate change. It's not a one-man job. It is a collective goal. It is a collective action. And this is the only way we can get to that point where we can say we are really making impact across. So we should empower them through their voices. We should empower them through building capacities. We should give them the opportunity to get to that point where they can also stand in and bridge the gap when it comes to climate change initiatives.
Okay, thank you so kindly. Let's hear from you, Clifford. Quickly, what are your recommendations, sir?
Thank you. We must be intentionally, we must invest in youth-led initiative. We must create platform for youth to engage with policymakers. Then thirdly, we must listen to and learn from young people. And I want to leave you with this thought. The youth of West Africa are not just responding to climate change, they are redefining what it means to build a sustainable future. They are proving that climate action is social action that uplifts communities, bridge inequalities, and foster hope. Let's support them, not as beneficiaries, but as partners and leaders in this fight. Together we can ensure that their voices are heard, their solutions are scaled, and their vision for greener, fairer West Africa becomes a reality. Thank you for listening.
Great. Now to you, Absa. Tell us more about how you want to see the young people progress in their efforts to ensure that their impacts are highly felt regarding climate change.
Didn't hear the question.
Okay, how would you want the young people to work in terms of amplifying their work that they do or their voices in advocacies regarding climate change?
Oh, so I think that they need to work in coalition, in synergy first, but also to make sure that we have a meaningful participation of youth, meaning that just not say we had this amount of young people involved in the process, but to make sure that the participation is meaningful, that the solution or the perspective that are designed for young people are actually responding to their very real needs. And to young people as well is also to make sure that what we are asking for, what we advocate for is based on real substance, is based on real knowledge, real not just be in a movement, but really make sure that we are engaging in processes that we really can be knowledgeable.
Great. It's a pleasure, and we really hope to have you back in our studio another time for a wonderful discussion like this.
Thank you for having me.
All right, thanks to you, Clifford. We hope to have you another time on this wonderful platform. Thank you so kindly.
Thank you very much.
As well as to you, Audrey, for providing your knowledge and thoughts to the young people today. Thank you. We hope to have you another time. Well,
You're welcome.
Well, listeners and viewers, this is where we draw the curtains on this edition of Take the Lead here on West Africa, Democracy Radio, broadcasting from Dakar, Senegal. Remember to take the lead in shaping the discourse for the betterment of young people in Africa. My name is Augustine Cully. Please stay blessed.
Take the Lead is back in 2025 with a brand new format. Yes, your youth exchange space will now be broadcast live every Friday at 4:05 p.m. Universal Time. And that's not all. Dear internet users and WADR subscribers, you have the opportunity to experience the show live and direct on our online platforms on Facebook at WADR English Service and on YouTube at WADR. Take the Lead every Friday from 4:05 p.m. Universal Time and rebroadcast same day at 1 a.m. Universal Time. Also on every Tuesday, your youth program will be rebroadcast at 7:15 a.m. and 4:05 p.m. GMT. Take the lead and champion the discourse for the betterment of young people.